Hello, hello! You are listening to CPA Career Paths podcast with Rosie Flaherty, CPA MSA. This is episode number 5. In this episode, Miklos Ringbauer will share with us his CPA journey and his passion about this career. Miklos is the founder of Miklos CPA, and he's currently serving as the vice chair for the state-level board of directors of CPA. Thank you so much for the interview today. Can you just introduce a little bit about yourself?
Hi Rosie, my name is Miklos Ringbauer and I'm a CPA.
For people who are watching this video, they're just wondering about why you end up with being a CPA and then would like to know what you learned during the process to be a CPA right now. So at the very beginning, when you went to college, why did you pick the accounting or economic major?
So when I went to school, my accounting 101 instructor wanted me to become a CPA, but I absolutely didn't like debits and credits and I got lost at the T accounts. True story. But at the end of the semester, she said, I want you to be a CPA. They had a different program and do all the classes and everything else. And they wanted to give me scholarship. I said, no way, because debits and credits are just too difficult to handle. So I chose to be an economist instead of that. When I finished school, I was working in industry, in finance and some of the internal accounting activities, but I never considered accounting as a profession or as a career. So I can consider myself an accidental CPA. But the best accident that ever happened in my life, because I love it day in and day out. And I was very sad that I did not listen to my professor, because professors are the ones, or your faculty members or instructors are the ones who sees you and knows you a little bit as they spend time with you. So I didn't listen, and it took me 12 plus years to realize that accounting is my true passion and makes me happy every day when I wake up and figuring out problems and solving them and giving future opportunities for people in terms of like they don't have to shut down their businesses or they have some tax matter issues that we can help them to resolve and they can have less stress in their lives.
So 12 years, you're not doing accounting and you feel that, oh, I wish to do accounting earlier. So in those 12 years, what did you do?
So with the very first period of time, I was working in financial services towards like money management type of activities. And then I turned into one of the Fortune 100 companies. I was in an internal accounting department, but one of the specialized segments of incentive compensation type of activities. And accruals and all of those fun stuff, everything that comes to accounting, we were handling as a result. But I do have to say that 12 years gave me the ability to think differently and gave me skill sets and tools that I would never have had should I have studied as an accountant. Now, I do not recommend everybody to go through the same experience, but those 12 years were not lost. Those were actually unique skill sets and unique opportunities that I managed to pick up and advance in my career as a result.
Skill set, can you say more details about what skill set that you obtained in those 12 years?
The financial aspects on how people are running businesses and looking at not the pure accounting, but more as an operational / management / how the financial activities of a company happens. Like from money management side, understanding financial statements, looking at differently how publicly traded companies were operating and so forth. So those unique aspects are now great advantages, and the way I'm able to explain things to our clients, I no longer speak accountant as a result.
People saying that finance is just so much more interesting than accounting. And then now you're moving from an interesting area to like boring area. What would you say?
I take an exception to that saying it's boring. It's fun. But people confuse accounting as just one big bucket. But as you all know, there's forensic accounting, there's tax accounting, there's audit, there's IT type of activities, data and so forth, security type of activities. I personally love taxes. So it took me 12 years to realize that I love taxes. Not a lot of people love taxes, but I actually makes me really, as you can see, I started to giggle when I talk about taxes. I love taxes, and that was what I discovered that made me the happiest when it comes to accounting. Everybody will have to find what makes them happy, what field within accounting makes them happy, or a subject area. Finance was a great opportunity to have a broad set of perspectives and a lot of different things that we were putting together in order to determine who is doing better, who is doing worse. Those skill sets were great when I'm helping our small business clients of how to navigate their finances and their activities so they can survive, especially in the current environment. So it is not that it was boring in accounting wise, and it's not that finance is fantastic. You as an individual have to find out what makes you want to get up every day and say, I'm ready to change the world.
I can see the excitement on your face when you talk about tax and your career. So like people say that doing accounting is stable because like especially doing tax, everyone needs tax. So if you're doing tax, you don't need to worry about, oh, one day you lose job or you need to worry about finding the next job because literally everyone requires this service. And people may think that, oh, I choose accounting just because it's stable. What would you say for those people?
Accounting overall is a very stable career opportunity, but a person has to decide why they are selecting within a section, piece within accounting, whether it's forensic or tax or any of the area. I can tell you there are areas of accounting that I'm not interested about, and that's okay to say. I could do certain pieces, but I would not be as happy and excited about talking, like I'm talking about tax. Yes, taxes is going to be always be there, but our industry is in the process of transformation, and activities we have been doing will be taken or will be enhanced by robotic automations or by simplification of tax code, what everybody hopes, but of course it never happens. It usually is the opposite, that tax code are going to be more complicated rather than simplified. But taxes is an area where you will see a lot of transition. So in the state of California, it's very different than in another state. But in the state of California, if you look at the small to medium-sized practices, most partners or solo practitioners are 50 plus to 75 range. Age-wise, they are looking for an exit, right? So there will be an incredible amount of opportunity for an incoming person to have a lot of new business. And of course, California has a lot of businesses that will always need help with taxes. And you have to decide, am I working with business clients? Am I dealing with international tax? Am I dealing with individual tax? Or am I dealing with some unique segment or like ERISA type of activities? Whatever that will make them happy, or sales tax type of activities. But you have to find out what you like as a person-wise. But it has an incredible opportunity for the next 5 to 15 years because unfortunately a lot of practitioners are retiring. So you can take over a practice if that's what you want, or you can just start a practice after you have enough experience and able to grow it organically. There will be an incredible opportunity in the state of California for all tax practitioners.
Well, this is interesting topic because if you say that you start from nothing and then you buy the old practice and then start from there, there are disadvantage and advantage. So can you share like what advantage and disadvantage of each?
Of course. Every decision has a pro and a con aspect. Even if you decide to take accounting as your major, has its pros and cons. As you could see, I decided not to do it, and it took me 12 years to realize that I made a mistake. With respect to buying a practice, you have to evaluate whether are you buying a practice where you have worked, so you will become the new partner or the owner of the practice. In that case, you will know the clients. The transition may be much more smoother versus just buying a practice right out and then hope that the clients stay. That could be a challenge, right? Taxes is personal. It's very, very personal, whether it's a business or individual. You're dealing with people's livelihood, with people's futures, and with people's ideas and plans, what they want to accomplish as they grow older or they get seasoned in their lives and their careers.
That's so true. Yes, tax is very personal. Absolutely agree with you about that. And so you seem to be so excited about tax. What in tax made you so excited?
So when I started, our tax practice. Our family had businesses, and we unfortunately had really, really bad tax preparers. And I just didn't make sense what they were doing. Unfortunately, we were in wrong hands. So that's where I realized, let me start digging a little bit, start understanding it. Many, many moons ago it was. And eventually I realized that tax was what I wanted, and I didn't see what my professor was in first year as a freshman, was telling me in Accounting 101 why I should have become one. And it makes sense, and it clicked eventually. With respect to the tax part, when we are helping small business clients, and especially ones who have been out of compliance or have notices, and they have incredible amount of stress from federal or state agencies. So when you can tell and show a taxpayer or a business owner that you don't have to shut down your business, it generates enough money that you are making a living and you can take it to the next level after you fix the issues that you are facing. The light in their eyes, their relief when they see that their idea, their business has a shot to survive and flourish is the most amazing feeling as a tax practitioner I have. And that's why one of the reasons why I prefer tax over other areas.
Now again, it's about a more about personal, because when you mention about that, it's creating a strong bond between you and clients. So yes.
And also you are helping somebody to figure out how to overcome a challenge. Our team and our firm, as well as when I was a solo practitioner, that's what drove me every day waking up and say, how can I help the people that I'm working with to make their dreams come true? So when people ask me what I do, I tell them I help others to reach their goals and dreams, instead of saying I'm an accountant. But that's truly what accountants do. We help other people make their dreams come true.
That's a really great viewpoint. Instead of thinking that accounting is boring, accounting is stable, now you just bring us to another view like, oh, accounting is just like changing the world. Accounting is just like something like miracle.
It is. And if you look at it, in every facet of our lives, whether it's personal or businesses, everybody needs an accountant. So when I used to go pre-COVID for high schools, for their career days, I went into different schools in different districts, and you go in and most students think, I want to be a firefighter, and all of those professions are great, a nurse or whatever else. And then you ask them, how many wants to work in the movie industry? Few people raise their hands. How many wants to do consulting or travel the world, or in the medical field industry? All of them needs accountant. So technically, one unique industry we are as accountants. We can be in every single other industry because every industry depends on us. And so whether you want to be around movie stars or whether you want to be jet setting around the world after COVID issues are resolved, you have the ability, or in tech or biotech or whatever industry that really makes you happy. There is a need for an accountant, whether it's a tax accountant or a general accountant, there's always need for them.
Wow, you're just really passionate about it.
What can I say? I do love accounting very much.
That's amazing. So when you change from be doing in economic to doing accounting, what made you decide to be a CPA instead of just doing as regular accounting?
So one of the unique things as people who receive their accounting degree as a bachelor's or their master's, it's fantastic. But then you have to evaluate what are your next steps. And getting a certification additionally helps for career opportunities as well, and or people you are dealing with. For example, in the state of California, you have 3 types of tax practitioner: CPAs, enrolled agent, and CTAX. So because I already had my bachelor's degree, I didn't have the necessary accounting classes to sit for the 150 hours requirement and the education part. But I knew that I wanted to do the CPA exam over the other ones. The other certifications are great as well. But I said I wanted to be a CPA because I fell in love with taxes. And, most people, yes, when I first started out, assume all CPAs do taxes, which is not true. We all know that it's not true. But, I said, CPAs do taxes, so let me get that certification. Let me prove myself that I can do it. That was my drive to become a CPA. Additionally, just because I love doing taxes.
Talking about the salary wise, I know that if you have the CPA license, you may receive a higher salary if you are employee, not talking about you start your own practice. So is that maybe a good motivation for people who's thinking about being a CPA?
As a point of an employer, if you have an opportunity to hire two people who have exactly the same skill set on paper, but one has a certification, most employers will want to hire somebody with a certification because that means they've done an extra step. That means they have done something more than the basic bachelor's degree. Nothing wrong with just having a bachelor's degree. But as you mentioned, it will over time enhances your earning opportunities, as well as what career opportunities you will be presented with, promotional wise, or just as you are searching for a new job or a new business to work with. Those certifications will help you to set you above other people. Now, it doesn't mean that you know your things, but on paper at least, it will show you that you have gone an extra step beyond the basics. And most employers would like to always have more and more skilled labor, right? If you look at a job application, almost everywhere it says CPA preferred if it's talking to accounting type of activities. So might as well go do it. So you are qualified for those jobs that may be out of reach as a result.
Yeah, because sometimes passing the CPA exam is not easy at all. Like, I know people, they can pass the CPA exam within like 3 to 6 months, but some people take like years to pass the CPA exams. And a lot of people in those times, they need to find a strong motivation for them to just like continue to get back to pass the CPA exam. So talking about that, when is the best period of time for people should pass a CPA exam?
There's no ever good time. It's just life, right? Life happens. You have to be rigorous and dedicated. I was one of those people who passed it in 18 months. And whether we like to admit or not, I failed some sections. Most people don't like to admit it. I will admit it, that I did fail. But I was working full time and studying at nights on the weekends for 18 months because every quarter I wanted to pass one section and I didn't start the next section until I physically passed the previous one. And so it is your personal choice. The challenge with the CPA exam is it's an incredible amount of material that we need to know. It's not that it's deep, but it's extremely wide. And that discourages a lot of people. But guess what? That's why when you become a CPA, people look up to you. That's why one of the reasons why CPAs will be able to command higher salaries later down the road, or certain opportunities that, audit-wise, you need to have an attestation, right, to be able to sign off on financial statements. So why not do it? It's just never a good time. But guess what? If you sit down and rigorously and methodically study for it, everyone can pass it if you put your minds to it.
Wow, that's true. That's true. I passed my CPA exam in the last week of 18-month window. I was so excited. I was like, yes, I don't have to do this again in the future.
I was in with you too. I was extremely worried that, oh my God, am I going to pass the last section? Otherwise, I can restart from the very first one that I would lose. So it was an incredible pressure. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's all worth it.
Yes, exactly. I absolutely agree with you. So after you have 12 years of experience and you change to accounting, and during that changing period, how did you adapt to all the new things you need to learn, to a new environment, to really new career?
Yes, I changed from industry to public accounting. So after I passed the CPA exam, I was a little bit further down in my career. And so I've decided at that time that I better start my own practice. And I had very fortunate because I had fantastic mentors. I had Cal CPA people around me who were helping me and guiding me. So you cannot do it by yourself. That's one important thing in accounting. And also in accounting, you never know enough. So you have to be okay to say that I don't know everything. because it's just physically not possible. Whether it's tax or anything else, or the gap, or anything area within accounting, there's just so much to know. Nobody could know everything. And so it was very hard because I started the practice from nothing. So after finishing industry, decided, okay, I want to be transitioning into public accounting, and I started out as a solo practitioner. But I could do that because I had fantastic mentors and people looking out for me to make sure that I will not make major mistakes that would result losing a license, right? So it was fortunate. None of the firms that I was looking at would have been the right fit for me at that time because I was just too much older than the average early stage staff. And so that was just a life reason why I didn't join another firm or be an employee of another firm. Guess what? As a result, today is where we are. But running a practice is not easy, whether you are a sole practitioner or you are managing a team of 10 to 100 people, doesn't matter how big the firm that you will be managing. None of them are easy because things constantly change. And that's one of our biggest, hardest lessons that we accountants have to learn, is that we believe we don't have to talk to people, right? That's the idea of people about accountants or tax accountant, or nothing changes on a regular basis. That's nothing furthest from the truth. Life changes a lot. Accounting changes a lot. Whether it's financial statement reporting or whether tax, look at what happened the last 2 years. How many new major tax legislations we passed over the years and are in the pipeline right now. Those are all significant changes. So we'll just have to break that stigma that nothing is changing in accounting and in tax.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because people when they see my personality, they always say like, why you are accountant? Accountants normally seem to be like introvert, seem to be quiet, seem to be shy, and you're not that at all. And I don't see that in you at all. You're not intro. I don't see you introvert. I don't see you shy. I don't see you like a typical accountant at all.
The problem we face is that if you look at movies, right, we learn from movies in the world. So we have the old 80s and 90s movies where accountants with the green visor, with those bands sitting behind pile of books, right? That's the idea that people have. At some point, that was very true because accounting and computer systems were not ready to help accountants. And that was life. Or we see other movies like Ben Affleck and The Accountant where it's a little bit different, right? The type of accounting. But people don't have the right perception. So unless a person talks to an accountant, and whether it's you, Rosie, or me, or other business CPAs out there who are working for a firm, they can tell you that, no, I interact with clients, I interact with managing partners or regular partners, I'm interacting with our other team members and stuff. So we are constantly and continuously talking to people. So we can never be introvert. That does not exist in our profession because people come and ask you all the time questions. It's not just filling out a paper, but able to explain what's happening and what are those papers are for.